वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्.
When enlightened masters say I, they don't have any meaning behind that I. Only the divinity speaks. For a normal man, when he says the word God, it is just a word, there is no meaning behind it. At the most, some imagination about God, that's all. There is no solid meaning behind that word. For example, when you say God, the word has no meaning. It is just mere empty word, supported by some imagination. But when you say I, you have a solid meaning for it. You have solid meaning. When you say I, you know clearly what you mean. But when you say God, you don't know what you mean. The emotion or the understanding is not supported. The word is not supported by the emotion or understanding or experience. But with enlightened people, when they say God, it is solid experience. And when they say I, it has no meaning. It is just for utility. It's an empty word. Because they can't use any other word, they have to use some word, they use the word. They use some word, no other way. That is the reason they use the word I. There was a great enlightened master, Nisargadatta Maharaj, in India. Somebody goes to him and asks, Master, you say enlightened people don't have karma, but how can you speak? How can you do all your activities if you don't have a karma? He says, I am not doing anything. The disciple asks, No, you are speaking with me. How can you speak with me if you don't have a karma? Nisargadatta Maharaj says straight away, I am not speaking to you. I am not speaking to you. He is speaking the same words and he is saying, I am not speaking to you. Very difficult to understand. Then Maharaj says, because you wanted me to speak, the speaking is happening through this body. There is nobody inside. Just hollow bamboo. Hollow bamboo. When the breeze enters the hollow bamboo, it comes out as a music. There is nobody inside. Just empty hollow bamboo. That is why whatever goes in comes out as a music. Comes out as a music. When you become hollow bamboo, whatever words comes out of your mouth, it becomes mantra. Your form becomes yantra. Your whole life becomes tantra. Your words are shastra. Your form is the center for stotra. And your life is sutra. Your very life is sutra. Here, when Krishna says I, there is nobody inside. Just the divine is speaking. Just the emptiness is speaking. Then the disciple asks Maharaj, Nisargadatta Maharaj, then how do you say I don't speak, I am not speaking to you? What do you mean by the word I? Maharaj says, because there is no other word, I have to use the word I. But this I doesn't have any meaning as your I has got meaning. Your I is supported with your experience. When you say the word God, it is empty word. It is not supported with experience. When you say the word I, it is supported with solid experience. You know it. You feel it. If somebody says, Are you mad? You shout at them and prove it. You know, the I in you is solid. It has got meaning. But when you utter the word God, it has no meaning. It is superficial. Some imagination, which you read in some books, which is taught to you in some discourses, which you heard when you were small boy from your mother. That's all. But when enlightened people, enlightened masters, they say the word I, it has no meaning. How the word God is empty for you, the word I is empty for them. There is no meaning. And when they say the word God, there is a solid experience for that word. Here, when Krishna says I, there is nobody inside. It is pure emptiness. Just the divine speaks through him. Just the pure existence speaks through him. He has become hollow bamboo. He has become pure energy. That is why courageously he can declare. He can say in a battlefield, he says, Bhutanam Ishwaropi. Sitting in a home, comfortably, where you have all security, safety, all insurances, all protection, sitting in that type of place and declaring, I am God, is very easy. Because there is nothing much risky. There is no risk. You don't need to take any big risk. You don't need to prove. Just make the statement. What is there? After all, free. Tell whatever you want. But he is making the same statement in a place where he is need to prove. He is making this statement in battlefield. It can come only from a solid experience. A deep, conscious experience. The courage which comes out of Satya, the courage which comes out of experience. Vivekananda says, one important thing which Vedanta can give you is courage to live, courage to face the life and death, courage to see the whole existence, courage to face the whole existence. One of the great disciples of Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita, she asked Swamiji, Swamiji, if I come with you, what will you teach me? What will you give me? Vivekananda says, I'll teach you how to face death. That is the ultimate teaching. Here, Krishna is giving that ultimate teaching in this 2 sloka. He says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir vavati bharata abhyuddhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthavanarthaya sambhavami yuke yuke. Then the next statement, that is very strange. Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naidi mamedi sorjuna. O Arjuna, if you understand the secret of my birth and death, if you understand the secret of my birth and death, you will be liberated from birth and death. How? Let us see the secret of the birth and death of Krishna. How we all go through the birth and death cycle. Now, just like how Krishna made a statement, I tell you this because you are my devotee and friend. Now I have to make a statement again. Here I am going to speak something which is beyond logic, purely experience. Before speaking, I take a oath whatever I am speaking is truth. Because whenever the ultimate truth is uttered, whenever something beyond our logic is uttered, we never receive it. Please be very clear. Silent listener is a person who is thinking about something else. Silent listener is a person who is thinking about something else. Whenever something is told which goes beyond our logic, we never receive it. If we are courageous enough, we fight, we question, we argue. If we don't have that much of courage, we don't allow that word to enter into us. To tell you honestly, we never believe anybody. We never believe anybody. Please be very clear. We never believe anybody. It is always just argument. It is always an argument. Sometimes open. Otherwise, the other times in the mind. If you can't express it openly, you continuously repeat the same words in the mind. That is why, before entering into these truths, I tell you, what I am speaking is truth. If you can receive it, there is a possibility of transformation. Because here I am speaking the truth which is realized only by experience, which cannot be logically proved. There is a beautiful website called ND, Near Death Experience. Find time, try to read that website. A doctor has done research spending 30 years just on this ND, Near Death Experience. Just on this Near Death Experience, he has done a research for 30 years. Let me first describe what is Near Death Experience. People who are declared clinically dead. After 4 or 5 hours, sometimes people come back. And after 4 or 5 hours also they come back. And only the people who came back after 4 or 5 hours, he went round all over the world meeting only this type of people who are declared medically dead by the group of doctors. Clinically dead. Doctors declare, no, he is dead. Over. But suddenly, all over the world, meeting the people who had this ND, near-death experience. He has met 10,000 people. He has collected the recorded reminiscence, experiences of 10,000 people. If you find time, try to see the website. And he has collected so many different kind of experiences. Experiences from Buddhists, experiences from Christians, experiences from Hindus, experiences from Muslims. From so many people he has collected experience. And he has categorized and explained everything. In the end, he makes an important statement. After doing research for so many years, so many religions describe the death in so many ways. Some say you will reach the place, there's a place called heaven. Saint Peter will be standing in the pearly gates. And if you have done only punya, you will be taken sin. If you have done only merits, you will be taken in. If you have done sins, committed sins, you will be sent to eternal hell. Each one has got their own faith. Some say there is no hell or heaven, you will directly go to Vaikuntha. Some say there will be a special Pushpaka Vimanam, a special aircraft sent from Kailash. All the Ramba Menaka will be the air hostess. They will be serving you and you will be directly taken to Shiva's place. There are so many different versions. What happens after death or what happens at the time of death? So many versions. And Kathopanishad says you will enter through a tunnel And then see that Angushta Matra Purusha Pirano means the light which is thumb size, which is your soul. You will see that light and that light leaves the body. There are so many explanations, so many different kind of versions, how the death happens and how you enter into the other body. This doctor, after doing such a big research, for 30 years, he says, I have studied so many near-death experiences. Now I can tell one thing. Only when people live, they are Christians, Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, Jains, different. They belong to different religion. When they die, all of them undergo the same experience which is described in Kathopanishad. He says very clearly, all of them undergo the same experience which is described in Kathopanishad. Here Krishna explains that beautifully. Much more deeper way he explains. When we come to that chapter, Purushottama Yoga, we will see that subject, we will study. Now I just want to give you the introduction. I just want you to know the science in which we are entering. He says, people belong to different religion only when they are alive. When they are dead, they follow only one path, which is described in the Kathopanishad. Exactly what happens at the time of leaving the body. When you leave the body, the moment the physical body dies, physical body relaxes, the moment physical body says, I cannot hold the soul anymore, I am tired. The moment your soul leaves the body, you decide based on your life, how you lived these 70, 80 years, what you think as the highest pleasure in your life. If you think eating is the highest pleasure in your life, naturally you would have spent whole life in eating. Then at the time of after leaving the body, eating is the only highest pleasure. Then I should take the body which will help me to continuously eat. What is the best body? You see through all the choices. Then you decide, pig is the best body. Let me take that Janma. If you thought that sleeping is the greatest happy, joyful experience in your life, lived your whole life in sleeping, tamas, then you think, I think that is the best experience in my life. Why not take the buffalo body so that I can spend my whole life in sleeping? Whatever you think is a greatest experience in your life, or to enjoy which sense you spend more energy, maximum time, maximum part of your inner space, you decide your next birth based on that desire, based on that point. Please be very clear, nobody else decides your birth. It is you who decide. Simply you choose. It is clearly conscious decision of your individual soul. I am ready for any of your questions. Naturally, this is a very, I can say, controversial subject. Very difficult to understand. But after this, any question you have, you are welcome to write and put in the box. Surely I will answer, respond to all your questions. But you need to understand the science of birth and death, the mystery, secret mystery of birth and death. Here Krishna says, Ragasyam hetaduttamam. I am telling you the mysterious, ultimate science. Oh my dear devotee and son, my dear devotee and friend, Bhaktosi me saga cheti ragasyam hetaduttamam. I am telling you the ultimate mysterious science. If we can understand this one thing, how we take birth, by analyzing this concept with question answer. I always encourage people to put questions, because only when you put questions, you will be able to relate with that idea. Never think asking questions. If we ask some question, people all will look at us. We may look like a fool. If you ask questions, you may look like a fool. If you don't, you will be a fool. Better to look like a fool than to be a fool. We will analyze this whole concept, the secret of the birth and death, the mysterious science which Krishna delivers through our question and answers. Then we will be able to internalize this truth. If this truth is understood, you will immediately, the moment you will feel the life is a blessing. The life is your decision. Please be very clear. Including poverty is your decision. Don't think poverty has been forced on you. Don't think poverty has been forced on you. Even that is your decision. When we take birth, we assume the body. We take birth based on our fear and greed. One side the greed is pushing. Let us become son of a king. Let us become son of a rich man. The other side, your own fears say, no, I can't take so much of responsibility. Please be very clear. Along with money, big responsibility of protecting it comes. Along with money, the big responsibility of protecting the money also comes. That is why Lakshmi is handed over to Vishnu, who is protector. The Lakshmi is neither with creator, Brahma, nor with destroyer, Vishnu, the Shiva. She is with protector, who is Vishnu. Along with Lakshmi, wealth, money, the responsibility to protect it also comes. Most of the time, we don't want to take the responsibility. We want only the enjoyment. You want only the enjoyment. That is where the trouble starts. The person who is ready to take the responsibility and enjoyment will never miss, will never be deprived. If you understand the secret, mystery, clearly, this moment you will feel your life is a blessing. It is not curse. Usually we always blame the life. If I am given chance, I would have made this world much better than as it is now. We always think we can develop on this creation. Be very clear. Surely God is much more intelligent than us. Surely God is much more intelligent than us. Whether your life or the existence, He has done the maximum what can be done. Because we don't understand the mystery of our conscious decisions, we continuously blame the life and the person who gave this life to us. The greatness of God is He gives you the freedom to be in bondage. Even if it is freedom, He doesn't force us on, He never forces it on you. He gives you the freedom to be in bondage. Because it is your choice. The whole thing, your whole birth is based on your fear and greed. But enlightened master's birth is based on love and compassion. The whole secret is this. Ordinary man takes birth based on the fear and greed. That is why his whole life is driven by fear and greed. His whole life runs based on fear and greed. Enlightened masters, they assume the body out of love and compassion. That is why Krishna beautifully says, Atma Mayaya, because of my own energy, my own Shakti, my own Maya, I take birth. Sambhavyam Atma Mayaya, Prakritim Swamadishtaya, Sambhavyam Atma Mayaya. With my own energy, just out of my love and compassion, I land on this planet Earth.